Hey everyone. Welcome to Top Tech News. This is your news channel for getting updated with the latest tech news headlines and their impact on business and our lives. To read the full news article for any of the news that we cover, simply click on its link given below in the description. To stay updated, show us some love and hit the subscribe button below and turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. This way you would be informed whenever we upload a new video. Hi, my name is Dee and I am your host for today. Today's top headlines are: Google Camera 8.2, coming to Pixel 5, improves long press video recording. OnePlus 9 coming March 23rd with new camera from $150 million Hasselblad partnership. Google Doodle celebrates Masako Katsura, the First Lady of Billiards. Tesla to unveil updated Cybertruck next quarter as it focuses on production. How Nintendo and Nvidia could bring 4K to the Super Nintendo Switch. Let's get started. Google Camera 8.2 improves long press video recording, rolling out to Pixel 5 and more. The latest update to the Pixel series Google Camera app, version 8.2, has begun rolling out, bringing an improved experience for taking videos with a long press of the shutter button. Much of the photography prowess of the Google Pixel series is thanks to the fantastic Google Camera app, with its variety of modes, AI enhancements and tools. Because of this, when Google Camera gets an update, Pixel owners take notice, in hopes of new features. Now the Google Play Store has begun rolling out version 8.2 of the Camera app, a slight bump from the previous 8.1 release, to Pixel owners. So far, we've only confirmed the update to have arrived on a Pixel 5, but owners of the Pixel 4a 5G, Pixel 4a, and more hopefully shouldn't have too long to wait. The biggest change in Google Camera 8.2 is a major revamp to taking videos by pressing and holding the shutter button. In previous versions, this long press simply started a video recording, but with the latest update, you can now slide your finger in one direction to control zoom or slide it a different way to lock the recording. Once you've locked the recording, you can release your finger and the video will continue to record until you press stop. The feature can be a bit tricky to use, especially on the Pixel 5 and Pixel 4a 5G, which can switch between normal and wide-angle cameras when zooming in and out. That said, if your goal is to start recording as quickly as possible, this long press gesture and its newly added zoom and lock gestures are definitely the way to go. Notably, the Google Camera 8.2 rollout comes less than a week after Pixel phones received March's quarterly feature drop, which was headlined by underwater photography capabilities and a Pixel Stand update. Given the close timing, it seems strange that this long press video recording enhancement wasn't included as part of the March Pixel feature drop. OnePlus 9 coming March 23rd with new camera from $150 million Hasselblad partnership. We've already seen a ton of leaks and rumors, but now the official fun begins. OnePlus has confirmed that the OnePlus 9 series, expected to include the OnePlus 9, OnePlus 9 Pro, and OnePlus 9R, is being announced on March 23rd. Likely that won't be the direct release date of the OnePlus 9 series, but pre-orders may begin around that day if the same pattern from years past holds up. Arguably the bigger news here, though, is that the OnePlus 9 and the next 3 years of OnePlus smartphones are set to put some emphasis on the camera situation. For years now, OnePlus has failed to impress in the camera department as the competition only gets better, but with the OnePlus 9 the company is making some moves. OnePlus says that it has put up $150 million for a 3-year partnership with Hasselblad, a famous longtime camera maker. The result of this partnership will see its debut on the OnePlus 9 with the Hasselblad camera for mobile. Pete Lau says he is confident that the OnePlus 9 series will be a major leap forward in our ability to deliver a premium, flagship camera. Apparently, this partnership goes beyond just a name too. OnePlus says it has a close R&D collaboration for mobile cameras with research labs being opened in parts of the world, including the US and Japan. That's a lot of marketing talk, and it all sounds good, but what are the facts? OnePlus hasn't put out too much info yet, but they did confirm a few key specs. Included in this new camera system will be a custom Sony IMX789 primary camera, the largest and most advanced camera on a OnePlus device to date. The company also mentions 12-bit RAW support as well as 4K 120 and 8K 30 video recording. It'll be interesting to see if this new system manages to finally put OnePlus in league with Samsung, Apple, and Google, and you can bet you'll see more about that in the coming weeks. Stay tuned. Google Doodle celebrates Masako Katsura, the First Lady of Billiards. Google has honored Masako Katsura, a world-class billiards player who blazed the trail for women to be included in the sport, with an animated homepage doodle. Born in Tokyo, Japan in 1913, Masako Katsura was taught how to play billiards at age 12 by her brother-in-law who owned a game room. Within 3 years, Katsura earned the title of Japanese female champion in straight rail, a variant where the cue ball needs to hit 2 balls in a row in order to score any points. Immigrating to the United States with her new husband at the end of 1951, Masako Katsura was invited to participate in the 1952 World Three-Cushion Billiards Tournament by impressing 8-time world champion Welker Cochran. Three-cushion billiards is a particularly challenging variant of the game, where the cue ball must hit at least 3 cushions before striking 2 other balls to earn points. Google's Doodle showed an example of three-cushions billiards in action. As for why Google did this is because it was on 7th of March 1952 that Masako Katsura made history at that tournament by being the first woman to be included in an international billiards championship. During this event, it was expected that she would not be able to hold her own against the men, but Katsura proved them all wrong by taking 7th place. Her victory that day opened the door for more women to play billiards and proved that women were more than capable of facing even the greatest men of the sport. The tale of Masako Katsura's ability to make a way for women in a sport that was dominated by men was Google's fantastic way of leading to International Women's Day. Google began celebrations for IWD and the grander Women's History Month with the addition of some fantastic curated culture wallpapers for their Pixel phones in the March feature drop. Tesla to unveil updated Cybertruck next quarter as it focuses on production. Elon Musk is teasing Tesla unveiling an updated version of the Cybertruck next quarter as the automaker is focusing on bringing the electric pickup truck into production. Tesla unveiled the Cybertruck back in November 2019, but the vehicle isn't expected to enter production until late 2021. Over the last year since the unveiling and leading to the start of production, Tesla has been modifying the electric pickup truck. Unlike most automakers who unveil concept vehicles and later production versions that are extremely toned down, Tesla tends to bring production vehicles to market that extremely closely resemble their original concepts. However, the automaker still makes refinements and some modifications on the road to production, and the Cybertruck is no exception. CEO Elon Musk previously talked about Tesla updating the Cybertruck's adaptive air suspension. They also talked about making the truck smaller, but Musk scrapped that plan after a design review back in May of 2020. While the automaker scrapped plans for a smaller Cybertruck for the time being, some modifications to the design and dimensions are expected. The updated version of the Cybertruck was expected to be unveiled late last year, but it has been delayed. Now Musk says that the Cybertruck update is probably coming next quarter. The CEO also added that the focus is now on bringing the electric pickup truck to production at Gigafactory Texas, which is still under construction. Earlier this year, Musk has warned that Tesla needs to be lucky for the electric pickup to not be delayed and come to production late in 2021. The update could also unveil some previously announced Cybertruck features that haven't been demonstrated yet, like the solar roof for the bed of the electric pickup truck. The automaker could also unveil updated specs for the Cybertruck after unveiled plans for its in-house battery last year. Tesla said that it plans to launch the 2 higher-end versions of the Cybertruck in late 2021. Those 2 electric trucks will have between 300 and 500 miles of range and be equipped with dual and tri-motor powertrains and start at $49,000. A cheaper and lower range version of the Tesla Cybertruck is going to be available later. How Nintendo and Nvidia could bring 4K to the Super Nintendo Switch. The Super Nintendo Switch rumors are back thanks to a new report from Bloomberg. The Bloomberg story claims that Nintendo is sourcing new OLED 7-inch 720p screens from Samsung for the upgraded device, and then the system will target 4K in docked mode. This joins a long lineage of rumors related to a Switch refresh that would beef up the capabilities of the hardware. But how is it possible for the Switch to render games in 4K after all? The current hardware struggles to run at 1080p. Let's go over some of the options available to Nintendo. These include significantly upgrading the hardware, implementing Nvidia's Deep Learning Supersampling, or DLSS, and a variety of post-processing and video tricks. And then we'll try to figure out which one is the most realistic. One possibility is that Nintendo will release a Switch with an ultra-powerful GPU from Nvidia. 2021 Switch models are still using the Tegra X1 design that first debuted in 2015. And since then, Nvidia has not just reduced the size of its chips but has also introduced multiple new generations of architectures. That means that Nvidia and Nintendo could design a new system on a chip with significantly more power and efficiency than the X1. Maybe even enough to get some games, like Nintendo first-party releases, running at 4K 60. A next-gen Tegra is inevitable, but it's not the kind of thing that makes a lot of sense for a Switch upgrade. Completely new SoCs are expensive, and Nintendo wants to improve the profitability of its hardware at this point in the generational cycle. Also, there's still a lot Nintendo can do with the current architecture to get more power and efficiency. So don't expect the so-called Switch Pro to go this route. DLSS is Nvidia's magical image reconstruction tech. It's capable of taking a 1080p image and upscaling it to a 4K image without losing details. In some cases, the deep learning model is so effective that DLSS 4K includes more detail than native 4K. This seems more likely than a next-gen Switch processor, but it's not a slam dunk. DLSS relies on Nvidia's specialized tensor computing cores, and the Switch's Tegra SoC does not have any tensor cores, but we wouldn't assume that means that Nvidia wouldn't figure out how to add them. It's possible that Nintendo and Nvidia could opt to move the Tegra X1 from the current 16 nanometers TSMC manufacturing process to either TSMC's 7 nanometers process or Samsung's 8 nanometers process. In either case, that would significantly shrink the size of the die and create room for dedicated tensor cores. An added benefit of this is that it would also drastically improve efficiency of the Switch SoC, and Nintendo could use that to increase clocks while using less battery and generating less heat. Nvidia has another AI upscaling technique cleverly called AI upscaling. The company uses this to make 480p images look like crystal clear 1080p and even 4K on its Nvidia Shield set-top box. AI upscaling seems like the right answer at first glance. It's already working on the Nvidia Shield, which uses the same Tegra X1 processor as the Nintendo Switch. But it's possible that this technique won't work as well with games. On Shield, Nvidia only uses it with content like YouTube video and Hulu movies and shows. Our guess is that like a lot of image processing, AI upscaling introduces unacceptable lag. That would prevent it from working with Switch games. Of course, it's possible that Nvidia and Nintendo could tune a version of it to function for gaming, but we haven't seen any evidence of that. Another possible solution is something like a post-process add-on chip. Nintendo could build an application-specific integrated circuit into the Switch dock that specifically handles upscaling and improving the video signal for 4K. Something like this is already possible with devices from a company called Marseille. Its classic dongle can upscale a 720p or 1080p image to 1440p while also adding contextual anti-aliasing, color enhancements, and image sharpening. It's important to remember what the purpose of a hardware revision is. This isn't a new generation of hardware. Nintendo wants to save money, keep demand high, and keep the average sales price high. And it wants to do that all while getting its biggest fans to subsidize the distribution of more Switch systems. So Nintendo only needs to do enough to get its most loyal customers to upgrade, so we might sell our older Switch systems or give them away to friends or family. As Nintendo was sketching out what a Super Nintendo Switch would look like, it only really needs to hit a list of features that look good on paper. That means bringing buzzwords like 4K and OLED and maybe even HDR. And then it will look for the cheapest and easiest way to get to those buzzwords. Nvidia's motivations around making DLSS as an industry standard would align well with a Switch refresh, and Nintendo can get the benefits without having to force the issue itself. Well, that's about it for today. Hope you found it helpful. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. And do show us some love by clicking on the thumbs up button. Have a wonderful day everyone, and we will be back again soon.